Hey guys, Farm All. I decided to start working on the Philco 42380 chassis. This is the radio that I rebuilt the cabinet in earlier in the year and refinished it. I decided that I would start refinishing the chassis. I'm going to order capacitors for this and for the RCA, both of which I tested in the last videos. I've got the power transformer painted and masked off, as well as almost all the stuff on the chassis. I still have to mask off this piece of felt, and there was some rust. I wouldn't bother, except there's some rust here and pretty good spot on the other side. Right back here is really rusty. And the color that I chose is a Valspar anti-rust armor paint. It's aluminum. It's a little bit brighter than the original color. This is actually a little dull here. I don't know if you can see it, but this was covered by a rubber foot, and that's a pretty close original color. I believe this is what they call cadmium plated, and I've used the aluminum on a couple of these pieces here. I don't know if they're dry yet. Yeah, not too bad. And it's a pretty close color match to the original plating. It's a little bit brighter, but it's not too bad. It's not too shiny, so it shouldn't be too bad of a match. And then for the plates of the transformer, the steel plates, I used the Valspar anti-rust again, and this is called wrought iron black. It's kind of a semi-satin. It's closer to a gloss semi-satin than flat, so that's kind of nice. And then for the transformer end bell, I used again Valspar. This is gloss black. It's actually pretty nice paint. They have it at the Tractor Supply store down in the town closest to me, and it's actually pretty nice paint. It dries really fast. Of course, it says fast drying, so it's actually pretty nice. I was going with two different choices for the chassis. I got this plastic coat cold galvanizing, and that's too dark and it's dull. I mean, it doesn't have, it's really pretty dark, but so I didn't use that. I think the aluminum is a closer match. I had some aluminum in a paint can, a small pint, I think, or half pint, and that was actually kind of shiny, too bright. But this Valspars are pretty close. And then of course we got solvent here, a little liquid refreshment for the painter. But anyway, I'm going to hit the chassis with some paint, and I think I got everything masked off pretty good. The transformers up on some cardboard so that I can get the chassis underneath here, and I've tried to plug most of the bigger holes so the paint won't get through, and of course the tube sockets are all masked off, and these wires, pot shafts here and everything. So we're going to hit that with some paint, let that dry, and then I'm going to continue on. I've got to rebuild the tuning mechanism. That's really rusty, so I'm going to tear that apart while the paint's drying, and I'll catch back up with you guys in a few minutes. Well, I got the chassis all painted. Got the transformer mounted back on. Got the variable capacitor cleaned up pretty well. Got that all put back on. Got this bracket put back on. I cleaned and lubed all the push buttons so that they function well and don't stick. There was a couple that were sticking before, so that works good. And I've restrung the dial cord so that everything works the way it's supposed to. I printed off the rider's diagram. I actually saved it as a PDF and printed off the rider's diagram, and it shows how to string this, which is good because both of the strings were broken, and it's kind of confusing as to how it would go, being that there's two pulleys. And one of these actually this is the only spring that I had, and I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a spring on this outer string which runs the needle, but this spring was here, and this spring was missing completely. There was just a piece of wire, and I didn't have another spring like this, so I put 2 of these springs in here, have about the same pull as this, and they seem to work alright. And it says there's supposed to be 2 turns around this shaft, so I mean it seems to operate and it doesn't bind or anything. So get the I left the glass off, and there's a piece of cardboard that goes behind it, goes behind the needle, I believe, between the needle and the faceplate, and I left that off so you could see the dial cord mechanism. It doesn't look too bad. It's not perfect, but we'll get her put back together and get the caps ordered and stuff and get that going. So I'm gonna go put the dial glass back on now. Alright, we got the dial glass in. It is missing the 2 screws that hold this on, and I'm not sure exactly where they are. They were not in it when I took it apart, so I'll have to find some suitable replacements tomorrow and get that bolted in. But it does work, and the idea is there's lights underneath here that make this glow, this cardboard, and you can see the dial needle in there. It's kind of hard to see when it's not lit up, but it's all put back together as far as that goes, and tomorrow I'll get the tube tester out, check all the tubes, and clean them up and get them repopulated back on the chassis, and then we'll just have to wait for the caps to get here, and I can redo the caps. So thanks for watching. I'm going to upload this for today and make some more videos tomorrow.